Hi, my name is Joe Dales, and I'm one of the co-founders of RHA Partners and the 519 Growth Fund. We're pleased to be a sponsor of the Ontario Agritech Pitch Competition today. Thank you for the University of Guelph for showing leadership on pulling this great event together. Congratulations to the five finalists. We're really excited about the future of your companies and look forward to helping in the future. In this session, while the judges are deliberating over the winners, we wanted to introduce you to three great young founders. We're going to meet Jenny from Vivid Machines, Cole from Intelliculture, and Alain from Combyne. We're going to ask them some questions about getting their businesses started, some of the experiences they've had when they scaled them up and are growing, and then we're going to discuss some of the challenges they've had with, raising finances, and in some cases, some of the strategic opportunities they've had. I want to thank everyone for following us and attending today. If you don't know, RHA Partners, we invest in early stage innovative companies. So reach out to us if you're a founder or you're an investor. We're happy to talk to you and see if we can find ways to work together. Thanks again.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jenny Lemieux. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Vivid Machines. We founded just over 2 years ago, and what we're doing is we are helping right now mostly fruit farmers and the supply chain, so pack houses and marketers, do a better job of understanding what's happening on the farm so that they can intervene with more precise farming strategies and ultimately increase profitability, as well as then providing transparency throughout the supply chain so that we can reduce costs such as shipping and storage and better negotiate sales contracts. And we're doing that by building technology that incorporates computer vision, so seeing what's happening on the farm and then sort of a pipeline and real-time predictions.
I'm Alain Goubau. I'm the CEO of Combyne Ag. I'm also a mixed dairy and cash crop farmer from Eastern Ontario. Combyne Ag is a crop marketing management software purposely built for farmers. So we help manage the inventory and trade side of marketing grains, oil seeds, etc. We define our vision as helping farmers optimize the value of every bushel, help them understand their marketed position, their different levels of risk on contracts they need to deliver, grain that's unpriced, what cash flow is going to look like, and ultimately help them make more informed decisions when it comes to crop marketing.
Yeah, so my name is Cole Powers. I'm one of the co-founders of Intelliculture and also the CEO. And what we do at Intelliculture is the way that we frame it is equipment management software for producers. So we work primarily with high value and permanent crops, so orchards such as apples and cherries, as well as vineyards. And most of our footprint is on the west coast of US and Canada. And tactically, what we do is we have these GPS units that growers plug into anything on the farm with wheels, whether that's a tractor, a side-by-side, a pickup truck, etc. From there, we have a web-based platform that folks log into, as well as a whole reporting suite. And we offer up a few different things. First and foremost, we have a maintenance planning software for just keeping track of overall cost of ownership of machinery on the farm and alerting of anything such as like diagnostic codes or issues that those machines might have, as well as things that need service on their farm. Then more on the field side, what we do is we send out what we call coverage reporting, which is generally giving growers insight into efficiency on the farm in terms of what your average acre per hour is for your different operations. And the biggest thing, especially for these orchards and vineyards, is spending time giving back a report on spraying. So giving insight into if they missed part of a block, for example, that could be conducive to them losing crop because of a mildew or a pest outbreak.
So I think the first thing I would suggest is if you are a team or co-founders, one thing that we've found really helpful is to really debate and lock down our values in terms of the company, because then it makes decision making a lot quicker in the future. And there's even like founder questionnaires out there, but being able to sort of understand what matters to you as a company, then it becomes really clear about which decisions make sense and which don't. So that was something that was important for us. One other thing, like as a founder, it's, as you all know, it's like not an easy journey. And sometimes you just feel like things aren't progressing the way you want them to. And my advice there would be just don't stop. Really, it's just the person that stays in the race that keeps going. So just keep pushing forward, even if it feels like you're not getting where you want to be. It does pan out. It just seems to take sometimes a really long time. And then I think the last thing I would suggest is if you can build a network of other founders and entrepreneurs that you can celebrate the wins with, that really understand what it's like to say fundraise or get a new customer, but also that you can ping for help or to have a conversation when things aren't going so well. That's really made a huge difference for us. We've got a really great network of other entrepreneurs that we're able to connect with.
I'd say a couple of thoughts depending on who they're targeting. So in our particular case, we are a farmer-centric solution. One of the challenges in farmer-centric solution is distribution. So really think about paths to go to market on that front. One of the things we do is we leverage a variety of advisors that work with farmers around crop marketing decision and risk, because our software product is a natural complement to that privileged relationship or that trusted relationship. So it gives us a much easier path to potentially work with a broader spectrum of farmers and reach them. The other thing I would say in a particular case, we're a little bit unique. We were actually recently acquired by Bayer Crop Science at a complete arm's length setup. So we actually operate as a company separate from the broader company. But what it does is it actually solves a lot of distribution challenges for us and gives us very patient capital given our sort of general model. I would say, though, more generally, we really over-index spending time with users. In our context, we build software. You need to really design software well, understand the problems that you're solving for, so kind of so-called jobs to be done. So while some people might view it as somewhat expensive, we do spend a lot of time with farmers on the field at their farms to just inform our feature set, how to build them, what's working, not working, testing prototypes, etc. And I think that's something that we pride ourselves in, that we see is really starting to pay dividends. We like to say 80% listening, 20% talking, in sort of building a farmer-centric solution. Maybe more generally, I would say, depending on what you're building, especially in the early stages, you have to think about what you're looking to de-risk. So if you're very technology heavy in your offering, something unique that's got IP, biotech, whatnot, what I think you're looking to do is de-risk your technology risk more than anything, versus in our case, our foundational thing we build isn't particularly technologically so complex. So we need to show more user traction, activation, usage of our product. So think of yourself from an investor trying to think, how do you understand what are the risks in sort of building value in this company, and where do you sit on that risk profile? I think it's something to think about overall. And so depending on what you're trying to raise or do, what you're trying to show is which part of your overall business are you going to de-risk. Is it the technology side? Is it the traction, the go-to-market, the business model, the pricing? Think a little bit about in the early stages, what exactly are you trying to show that you're de-risking?
First piece of advice still stands, in all honesty. Like, ag is so relational that I think that probably one of the most important things that we've done is been able to spend a lot of time with growers and a lot of time with other folks in the industry. But when it comes to just getting started, like, as cliche as it is, just doing it is probably the biggest piece of advice that I can give entrepreneurs that are just getting cracking here. Like, I remember when we were first starting Intelliculture, there was a period of kind of overthinking it, almost trying to do everything right and trying to plan out what our roadmap and what our business model looked like. But frankly, just going out and trying stuff and talking to customers really helped propel us and started getting us a lot more momentum and tactical growth as a company. And then the last piece of advice is pick up the phone and talk to customers. Like, at the end of the day, customers and partners in the field are the folks who are going to make your business happen. And the more time you spend getting to know your customers and over-indexing on how and why you bring them value and change their day is going to bring merit to the business.
I think right now, if you're looking for institutional funding in this market, you probably would like to have some revenue first, or at least some proof points. So, customer proof has been probably the most important thing for us. And that really changed the game for us when we started landing our first customers. So I would say that. The other is connect with other founders, because if there are founders that have raised in your space, likely they have really great, like, people can reach out to me. I've talked to probably the majority of investors in North America in ag tech. So a lot of us have connections and can give you the lowdown and possibly do introductions. So use your network.
So we raised our seed round about a year ago now, and super fortunate and grateful to have raised it with some local folks as well as other Canadian VCs. So round was led by a group called Emertech, and it was a good process overall. I think if I can roll up some specific advice for entrepreneurs, first and foremost would be don't underestimate the value of networking and building relationship. And not in a superficial fashion, but just really getting to know folks in industry and spending a lot of time asking questions from investors and partners that can help you better yourself as an entrepreneur. So that would be my first piece of advice. And then the second one would be don't underestimate how long and how much work it does take to raise a successful round. You're going to have a lot of conversations. You're going to have to find and work through finding a really good fit for both you and the investor. And it's going to take longer probably than you might expect.
Vivid Machines, we just did the first close of our seed round, February 21st. So we've raised in this round, we're raising 3.5 million. We just closed. Our target was 2.75 on the first close, and we actually raised 2.9 million. And our investors are really fantastic. We've got the BDC Women in Tech leading, Stand Up Ventures is in there, Tallgrass, Emertech, Cornell, the W Fund, and then we had some investors from our pre-seed round, such as Box One and N49P and Entrepreneur First. So we've gone through a couple rounds of fundraising. Probably a total of 5 million US. And then also we've been very lucky with grants and contribution funding from the Canadian and Ontario governments. We've raised about 1.5 million US there also. So, we're really tapping into every source. But if anybody ever wants to connect on how awful and long and painful fundraising can be, I think I've had one of the most crazy long processes. So, it did pan out, but it can be pretty all consuming and difficult. Yeah, I think the most exciting news for us is that we closed our fundraising, or at least the first close of our fundraising, a couple weeks ago. So we're really happy about that, and now we're heads down hiring. So if you're an engineer looking for a job or interested in ag and working on in the field, we're looking for field techs. So, excited to be able to deploy that capital to build a really great business. So I think that's the most exciting news.
So, as I alluded to, we were recently acquired by Bayer Crop Science, and specifically their digital arm. This sits within a broader ambition of enabling increasingly digital management of farms. It's a very unique transaction and model. Took over a year to structure properly, but we are effectively a standalone company within the broader Bayer organization. Operating arm's length, and what we do is we kind of help move from Bayer's focus, which is really crop production management. Think about what they offer. They offer digital farming solutions. They offer crops, seeds, crop protection, etc. We are a crop marketing management solution, and so while these two things are related, they are very different in terms of how you manage these things on a farm. But if the broader ambition in ag, and I think this is something that is needed in ag, is really to break down information silos, kind of going from field to on-farm storage, to transportation, to delivery. We act as sort of that linchpin in the middle to enable all of that. But in our model also, we work with a variety of non-Bayer partners to enable sort of this sort of grain marketing experience for farmers. But at the same time gives us a distribution channel and a lot of resources to patiently build that. So super excited. We're kind of Ontario-based company. We have about 20 people in the broader Ontario region, 100% focused on building software solutions for farmers in the grain marketing space. So look for us to kind of keep growing, keep creating some visibility for what it is we're doing, which is building a crop marketing operating system purposely built for farmers and digitally native, because we think that that's a much needed gap in the industry today.